do you spend at least 40 hours a week with? Maybe you're in a hybrid work environment or a remote work situation, but who's that person you're in constant contact with? Maybe this person is a determining factor in your success or your failure in your job. Who am I describing? I'm describing your boss. There are certainly positives to having a great relationship with your boss, but there are also some words of caution that I want to offer to you today. I'm Cicely, and in today's career conversation, let's answer the question, should you be friends with your boss? Now, in my 25 plus year career in business and politics, I've had great professional friendships with each of my bosses. So when it comes to answering the question, should you be friends with your boss? The short answer is yes, but there are caveats. And those caveats we're going to cover this morning come in the form of do's and don'ts. Now, this is not an exhaustive list because we'd be here all day if it were. But I do want to cover some of the do's and don'ts this morning. And then if you have questions about your particular situation, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put a link below in the comments how you can reach me. Let's talk about the do's. Let's go over the do's. Do treat your boss as a professional friend, not your bestie. Let me say that again. Do treat your boss as a professional friend, not your bestie. There is a line. Professional friendships are very different than personal friendships. You can absolutely treat your boss as a professional friend, not a personal one. Do know that professional friendships are built on respect, leadership, and mentoring. Do ask your boss, how's their weekend? How's their family doing? Those are perfectly acceptable conversations to have. Do go grab a drink with your boss if they invite you to go out after work. Or listen, my boss used to take us to dinner as a team. Go on those kinds of outings. But do remember at the end of the day, there are boundaries with your boss. It's why that distinction between professional friendships and personal friendships is so incredibly important. All right, let's jump to the don'ts. These are important as well. Don't. I'm going to continue to hark on this one. Don't treat your boss as a personal friend. Your boss is not a personal friend. And I'm going to continue to hark on that one, quite frankly, because that is the line that so many people get wrong when you answer the question, should you be friends with your boss? Professional friends, yes. Personal friends, no. Do not or don't overshare personal feelings with your boss. Don't overshare personal information. Don't gossip with your boss. Don't vent to your boss. Don't expect special treatment just because you do have a good relationship with them. And don't tell inappropriate jokes to your boss. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that one happen, and it just makes me cringe. At the end of the day, you have to remember that your relationship with your boss is absolutely incredibly important. But it's got to be the right friendship and the right relationship to ensure that you're on the professional side of that friendship, not the personal side. And look, as a rule of thumb, as long as you're on the professional side and not the personal side, you'll usually get it right. As long as you remember at the end of the day, the person you're talking to is still your boss. That has always been my rule of thumb when I've had great professional relationships with my bosses, and I still count them as friends to this day. But I remembered that there were boundaries, and I remembered that they were always my boss. Now, again, these are high-level overviews of the do's and don'ts. Feel free to reach out to me. Happy to have a conversation. And look, drop me a comment below. Do you have a professional friendship with your boss? I'd love to know more about that in the comments. Keep in mind that rule of thumb of the professional versus personal, and you should be okay if you keep that in mind. I see there are some comments. And listen, by the way, I know there are several of you, before I get to the comments for those of you who are here this morning, I know there are several of you who watch these videos. I can see the number of viewers who are joining us, and I know that a number of you watch as soon as I conclude, and you reach out to me afterwards with your questions and with your comments. I love that. So if you can't be here live with me at 9:30 Eastern on Mondays and Thursdays, then yes, please continue to reach out to me with your questions and comments. I'm having, I just love getting to know you and about your professional journey, and I'm grateful that you're reaching out after you watch these videos because you find them valuable. So I can see a couple of comments coming in, and that last one just made me laugh. So let me start at the top first. This is valuable info. Hey, Chris, good morning. Thank you for being here. Eileen, keep a professional distance from your boss. They are not necessarily someone you should treat as absolutely as intimate, but they deserve to be treated like any other friend in the workplace and see themselves as your closest colleague. That's true. Yeah, I think the professional distance is a great way to phrase it. Eileen, so many people, and look, sometimes, which to Eileen's point, sometimes it's not how you treat your boss. It may be how your boss treats you. Maybe your boss is kind of crossing that line between the professional friendship and personal. Maybe they want to hang out with you. Maybe they're talking to you. Look, I know that can also be a possibility as well. But it's up to you to remember that they're your boss and set those boundaries as we talked about. You have to remember that there are boundaries with your boss, and that's exactly what Eileen is talking about this morning. I love this comment. I'm my own boss, and I'm not even friends with me. I love that. That's a great that's the quote. That's the quote of the day, Chris. And look, some of us who are here this morning, I can see some of you on the call. Yeah, we're now entrepreneurs, and we now have teams that we're coaching. And it's important that we coach our teams. It's important that we coach our colleagues, our team members, to know this line as well. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you have a small business, remember, these tips apply to you as much as they apply to your employees. And for those of you who are watching this video, either now or on the replay, and you have a boss, you may be in a situation where you work for a company or that you have a boss or you report to the CEO, whoever that boss or that supervisor may be, or if you're the boss, keep in mind it's up to you to set appropriate boundaries for how you interact with your colleagues and your team in the workplace. Eileen's comment about professional distance is spot on. You have to set that tone and make sure the tone is an appropriate one. And if it crosses that line, you as the employee, you need to kind of pull back. And remember to respect those boundaries and set those boundaries if they don't currently exist. Now, for those of you who are here with me, or if you're watching on the replay, today we're answering the question, should you be friends with your boss? In the next video, we're going to talk about how do you interact with your boss on social media. We've all been there. You see that friend request come in and it's from your boss and you're thinking, oh no, do I accept it? Do I not accept it? What's the etiquette of social media when it comes to your boss and workplace colleagues? We're going to talk about that in the next video. But today, should you be friends with your boss? Think about these do's and don'ts. Think about the caveats we've talked about here. Think about that line between the professional friendship and the personal friendship. And then I'll see you in the next video when we talk about social media etiquette. For those of you who are joining me here this morning, thank you for being here. I always appreciate the comments and the dialogue, and I can see some folks are watching, so I hope to hear from you later as well. Listen, we're here every Monday and Thursday morning from 9:30. Chris, let me just grab what Chris is. Everyone can benefit from learning from you. Chris, I appreciate that comment as we close out this morning. That is the goal of these videos, is to share my 25 years of experience in business and politics to help you with your roadmap to success. Why guess when you've got somebody here who can show you the exact steps to take, avoid those pitfalls, avoid those problems, and skyrocket your success in a way that you can't do on your own. That's what I'm here to do. And Chris, I appreciate that you find this information valuable. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.